Hello, everyone, and welcome to the May 12th regular Town Council meeting for the Town of Vegreville. I call this meeting to order at 7:02. Okay, I'll be looking for a motion to adopt the agenda. Councilor Berry makes the motion. Is there any additions or deletions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried. I'll just let everybody know that we're waiting for Councilor Rudick to join us on virtual. Okay, next up, I'll need a motion to adopt the minutes of our last regular meeting. Councillor Lemko makes that motion. Is there any errors or omissions within those minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried. First up, we're going to start with our supplemental. CAO Ling, you have the first one.
Thank you, Your Worship. This is a letter addressed to Mayor and Council. It says, "My name is Jessica Melstead, and I have been a resident of Vegreville since November of 2023. In the short time I've been here, I have fallen in love with this community. However, I'm asking Council to consider changing or creating a bylaw so that a 1 to 2 year pilot program to allow backyard chicken hens for the purpose of egg laying could be implemented. I am aware that the council has voted against this in the past. Most recently, to my knowledge, was 2021. However, I bring this up again because my obvious personal interest. Since 2021, egg prices have increased over 25%, according to Stats Canada, and currently at least 30 communities in Alberta alone have bylaws allowing residents to have backyard hens. In this letter, I will focus on addressing some of the concerns mentioned in the 2021 meeting. The first concern I heard was regarding neighbors. I understand some folks may not want to live next door to chickens. However, this concern has been addressed in most existing backyard chicken bylaws during the application process. This has included signed consent forms or proof of adjacent neighbor notification, allowing for time for the neighbors to express concerns. Additionally, to minimize neighbor conflict, there are rules regarding cleanliness, the location of chicken coops in yards in relation to neighbors, and requirements of yards to be fenced, just to name a few. Roosters are also not permitted. A second concern I heard was how to determine the number of permits to issue. This is why I suggest implementing a pilot program first with a limited number of permits, and then at the end of the pilot, assess if more permits could be issued. Several other communities with backyard chicken bylaws have small caps to start and later increased or remove the caps entirely due to the success and interest in their respective programs. The final concern I heard was about strong regulations and policies. This is why I'm asking Council to create a bylaw with regulations so that the ability of a Vegreville resident to have backyard chickens is enforceable. And luckily for the town of Vegreville, with at least 30 communities already having bylaws in place, there would be no need to start from scratch. Rather, the bylaws of others could be used as a template to implement in Vegreville. To conclude, communities allowing backyard chickens have increased and have seen lots of success. In a town that is a hub for the surrounding agricultural industry, Vegreville is a prime candidate for a backyard hen program. If implemented, the program could support agricultural businesses in town, attract new residents to town, and allow residents the freedom to grow their own food and get more involved in the local agricultural community. Please note, I have already heard from many people who would like this to move forward, and I will be working on compiling a petition if Council chooses not to proceed at this time. Thank you for your time and patience reading through this letter. I look forward to listening in to the next council meeting, and I would be happy to answer any questions and concerns about this topic. Sincerely, Jessica Melstead.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll take a motion to receive and file.
Sure.
Councillor Rohrwaller makes the motion. Any discussion?
Oh, sure.
Go ahead.
I just figured I would maybe lead off because some of our members weren't on the last time. So I just kind of wanted to say a little bit of where I was at before and what I might, what I'm kind of thinking now based upon what we're seeing. The last time it came around, we did have individuals write to us. And I can tell you, I definitely read through everything they had. But I actually was contacted by a bunch of people, and I can tell you at the time, I honestly was only contacted by people that opposed it for the reasons that they gave, included a lot of things from noise to other concerns. So that was where my stance was at the time. I'm always open for rediscussion. I certainly, if we are in a discussion phase, would want to look at it more on a pilot side, because some of the same concerns that I had there are still valid. I mean, I think there's a couple things that we definitely would need to talk about right away, and that is that, of course, and we talked about before, if we ever were looking at it, it would be notification to neighbors with the ability for them to oppose. I don't want to see the creation of a big back and forth where it's put ideas out and we talk about back and forth. I mean, we said if we were going to do this, that would potentially be the way to go. Now, I would want to address one thing that I did see in here where she mentioned about promoting of agricultural business in town. I did look into a whole bunch of the bylaws in other communities, and from what I can see, most of them are only allowing for personal consumption, not for business. So this would not be an ag business in town. We do, however, support agriculture businesses through our farmers market. And of course, being in a small town, unlike a city where they might promote this, there's certainly lots of access to people selling farm eggs. But I just did want to make that notification that from what I've read, the majority or all the ones I've seen actually were for personal consumption. And as well, I do think she is absolutely correct that there certainly is an increase on the egg prices. 25% might even be modest. Everything has gone up, but so of course has the cost for everything for feeding the chickens. I went to the Egg Farmers of Alberta site, and I actually did pull a comparison to look at what they're talking about in a 2-year comparison of an average of 5 hens. What it showed to be is approximately $120 in savings. So the savings is a little bit minimal, but I think that there can certainly be a discussion, and I appreciate her sending this forward. I think that we're always open to new things, and I think pilots are sometimes the way to go. I can tell you, though, even since we last discussed it, I still have had the same people who reached out to me originally still reaching out with the same concerns. So I just want to throw where I was before and why I am willing to always have that discussion. But just that if we proceed forward, I would hope that we have very good pilot potentially, but regulations, because these things can kind of go a little sideways.
Okay, Councillor Lemko.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm not opposed to the idea. I think some research needs to be done, maybe contacting some of these other communities who have bylaws in place, whether it's working or it's not working, challenges and successes if they exist on this. And I agree that a pilot project would be probably the first step before we implement anything. But from the research I've done, there is bylaws in place that cover this and certainly can be managed through the process of application and licensing and that stuff. So again, I'm not opposed to it, and I think maybe it's something we can pursue a little further and go that way.
Okay, Councillor Bullock.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Anyways, I had the fortune of growing up on a farm where we had chickens, turkeys, pigs, cows, everything like that. So I feel differently. I'm opposed to this idea of being in town because I think a lot of people don't realize what it's like to have poultry on your farm. So on the farm, your chicken coop, ours, was not anywhere near the house due to the fact of noise, because at 5 in the morning they start making noise. Not only the roosters, the chickens do. The other thing is the smell. The smell that they have a certain pungent odor that's only much to be enjoyed by certain people. So anyways, the closest that was to ours probably was about 300 feet away as to where our coops were from where our house was. So that would entail probably surrounding neighbors of about 6 houses down. And that smell, depending if you're downwind of that, a prevailing wind, you always have that smell. So that's just something to consider. Another thing to consider about is the predators. We have foxes in town that chase cats, and let alone cats and other things. Like I seen a duck being carried by one the other day. It will attract predators because that's what predators do, and we have them around here. How would they be contained? There's a lot of things to discuss. I'm not opposed to a discussion on it, but I could just say why I would be opposed to that. You're gonna get chickens. Chickens are known to lay about 1 egg a day on average. That's if they're not stressed. So if you got traffic, other stuff interrupting your fowl or your chickens and stuff like that, they actually won't lay for 2 to 3 months. They can up to 2 to 3 months not lay. So it'd be really a lot of things to consider to see if there, how much of benefit there really is. Hey, a grass-fed chicken, probably with eggs, is probably one of the best things around. You know, healthy, of course, I understand that. But there's a lot of things to consider. Those are just a few things that I can tell you right off my tongue real quickly about that. And, you know, nothing like chopping the head off a chicken and actually frying it up too. It's pretty good. Thanks.
Councillor Curtis.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I wasn't around for the first set of discussions for this, but I think I'm on the same page as to learn a little bit more if other towns are doing it and it's working, great. If other towns are having challenges, then maybe it's something else we can, you know, look at differently, or maybe it's something we don't go forward with. But being my first go at this, I'd like a little bit more information for sure.
Okay. Councillor Berry, you have any input?
Thank you, Your Worship. I think this is my third time around. I'm quite certain most of you that are involved in this letter have already viewed the June 8th, 2021 council meeting, so you know that I was opposed at that time. I'm not opposed to discussing it. I'm not opposed to understanding whether the community is really, truly in favor of it. It's easy to get a lot of names and a lot of support quickly on the idea, but I'd really like to ask everybody, do you want your neighbor to have a chicken coop? It's not so much, do I want a chicken coop, but we need to know, does your neighbor want a chicken coop? And we spoke about this in that meeting at that time, and we were taking the calculations of what we found, and if we used the formulas that were being used by some communities at that time, Vegreville would be 3 permits. So I've already seen enough interest expressed, so which 3 out of the 15 that are already asking for it are going to get a permit for the pilot? Do we have to implement a draw system? You know, all of these things take up administration time as well, which needs to be considered. I also find it interesting that the last time that this came up was June of 2021, election year. And here we are in May of 4 years later, an election year, and here it comes up again. And I really think that the time before that was pretty close to election year too. What really needs to be is giving the time for administration to actually research this, because it could mean changing more than one bylaw. Do we call this something that has to be dealt under the nuisance bylaw, noise and nuisance? Or are they pets? So they'd have to be under the responsible pet ownership. You know, those are things that have to be thought out as well. And then I'd have to take a look at, does land use have something to do with it in terms of allowing another building, a chicken coop, on it, and the dimensions, the sizes, the qualities. And so there's a lot of things that before I could really say I'm changing my mind and saying yes to it, because I'm open-minded. The biggest thing I need to know is I really want to know if the community as a whole is acceptable to it and interested in it, because I have to represent the community as a whole, not 3 or 4 people that are writing letters. It's great to get the letters. It's great to start the conversation, and I think that's what this does. It starts the conversation, but we need to know, are we representing all of the residents of the town when we make a decision on changing policy that would allow chicken coops in a backyard, and how many of them? I think it would be nice to go out and collect your own eggs. I grew up in a small town. My grandfather was just on the edge of town. He was actually in town, but we raised chickens and pigs. And his next door neighbor had horses. But things are changed an awful lot. So I don't know. I think we need to get more information, not only from the communities that are allowing it, but just what would be entailed in making the changes so we had everything set up to go. And honestly, choosing an election year is the bad time to do it. Because this council's trying to wrap up what they've been doing for the last 4 years to get ready for the next council. And it's not going to be just a quick 2 weeks and the bylaws in place. You know, it takes a little longer than that. So I'm open for discussion, but please don't expect it to be fast.
Okay, well, thank you all. Myself personally, I probably side with the other 200 municipalities or more than 200 municipalities in the province of Alberta that don't have this type of a bylaw in place. I know the majority of residents of Vegreville will not support this. And already in Jessica's letter, she's saying that we were started in a pilot program, we could move to open it up even faster. And myself personally, I know this community very well, and I've talked to many, many people that are against this. If the majority of council would like more information before they make a decision to move ahead with the bylaw, then that's what we'll do. But myself personally, I just don't think it's fair to your neighbor, to the neighbor 3 doors down. So, but if that's what the majority of council wants, is to get some more information on these bylaws that are out there, again, 30% of the municipalities in this province is probably less than 2% of the municipalities that are doing this. And we make decisions for the best of every member of our community. So, that being said, what we'll do is ask admin to bring in and let us see some of the other bylaws, maybe reach out, see how they're working, and then we can either take it to a vote, or we could have Jessica, like she said, she was gonna get a petition started. She would need about 600 petition signatures, and then we could take it to the ballot at the municipal election and see what the community really thinks. CAO Ling.
Thank you, Your Worship. First of all, Councillor Rudick has connected, so she is in the meeting now. Second of all, administration can definitely bring forward some research in order to do our due diligence and make sure that we talk to as many communities as we can and get the information straight. I am wondering if it's possible for us to bring it forward to the June 3rd Legislative Committee meeting, so that not next week's meeting, but so in 3 weeks, that should give administration enough time to canvass and see exactly what all this entails and get some information from those communities.
Okay. Councillor Rudick, did you have something you wanted to bring forward regarding this letter?
I don't know if I have anything additional to add, except I would be interested to see what's happening in other communities. I know when we had this discussion previously, there were other considerations that were asked at the time too. So if we're doing the research, I wonder if it's worth finding out how comprehensive the inclusion is. I know that's not being asked here, but when we're making the effort to reach out, there were others that had asked about how extensive our backyard husbandry was going to be, if it was going to include beekeeping and all the other potential options.
There was a lot of conversation the last time this was brought forward about meat birds, about beehives, how many beehives would be allowed per block. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rabbits, yeah.
So it is a little bit more complicated than I think individual citizens might realize. I'm not actually opposed to the idea, but of course we are a council that is making decisions for the entire community. And I think if council is ready to hear a little bit more information from admin, I'd welcome that information. Just knowing that there might be the opportunity, if we're asking one question, you might as well ask two or three if you're making the effort to reach out to other municipalities.
Okay, yeah, we know from past experience, it won't just start with, laying hens. It'll move into other livestock too, so. Goats, yeah. Okay, so we've all had our say. We're gonna wait for the June 3rd ledge meeting. Min will get us some more information on how things are looking at other municipalities. And then by the next council meeting, we'll be able to make a decision again on this topic. Okay, so the receive and file, all those in favor? Carried, thank you. I guess I don't even have to do that at a ledge meeting, do I? I guess maybe, I don't know. Huh? Oh, this is a council meeting, sorry. Next ledge meeting, yeah. Okay, next up, we have a mayor, letter from Mayor Craig Copeland from the city of Cold Lake.
All right, thank you, Your Worship. So this is addressed to yourself, and it says, I am writing on behalf of the City of Cold Lake to determine if there is an appetite for communities in our region to form a working group and jointly request that the Government of Alberta consider a program to support rural bus lines that service our communities. I have been in contact with the owners of the Cold Shot Bus Company, who has been experiencing challenging times maintaining many of the rural routes of the company offers. As I am sure you're aware, the company has reached out to the municipalities it serves, as well as the provincial government, to seek assistance in maintaining its operations. Affordable alternative transportation options in northeast Alberta have been dwindling, and the service that our communities receive is admittedly basic at best. It remains, however, a crucial option for many people in our communities who do not have access to a vehicle, but must access crucial services that cannot be found in rural settings. Living in a rural setting, away from a major metropolitan centers, means that our residents have greater difficulties accessing important services, many of which are concentrated in the big cities. We all know that many of our residents must at times travel to our province's larger urban centers to access healthcare specialists, national and international flights, or simply connect with friends and family. Public transportation options are important and should be expanded regionally, and it should also be supported by the Government of Alberta. But we must realize that with the current state of rural public transit infrastructure, the private sector can serve a large number of communities more efficiently than municipalities are able to. Excuse me. Neither municipalities nor the provincial government would be able to replace the existing private bus network in northeast Alberta in a timely and efficient manner. Support for private industry willing to serve rural communities would provide the largest service possible at the smallest cost to the taxpayer, all while still allowing municipalities and Indigenous communities to expand their public bus systems as demand and resources allow. The Government of Alberta has spent billions to support public transportation in large urban centers and to encourage regional public systems to develop. These are important investments and should be encouraged. At the same time, however, a small fraction of this investment would help to assist the private sector in maintaining its service to areas of the province that would otherwise have no options. I invite you as community leaders to meet and hear about the challenges faced by the rural bus industry, the support that they need, and how we might assist the private sector in maintaining this last link to affordable intercity transportation in Alberta's northeast. Once we have gauged our region's interest in this matter and find a convenient time to convene, we will offer a venue to meet, either in person or virtually, so that we may advance this important discussion. I understand that the municipal election is upon us. However, we need to press forward on matters of urgency and kindly ask that you provide feedback and/or your interest by May 30th, 2025. I thank you in advance for your support and look forward to the opportunity to discuss this matter at great length. We look forward to your feedback on the need and support for the establishment of a working group. Please feel free to reach out to me directly should you have any questions. Craig Copeland, Mayor of City of Cold Lake.
Okay, thank you very much. Need a letter to, motion to receive and file. Counselor Bullock. So I have shared this with Counselor Bullock and Counselor Rudick. We're both on our Transportation Committee. And go ahead, Counselor Bullock.
Yeah, we're gonna review this at our next ad hoc transportation committee meeting to have some discussion of what we can offer, what we've already done. And it would be interesting to hear a little bit more from their side as well. On the weekend, interestingly enough, I was at a lodge in Mayerthorpe and they had FCSS there has some contact numbers as a private business that offers some, tours to seniors and stuff like that, like to go shopping and stuff like that. So I'm gonna look into a little bit into that too and see what they're doing, and it is a private paid service as well, right? So, but to what extent it goes, I'm not totally sure. But we'll discuss this at our upcoming transportation meeting.
So if we could reach out to Mayor Copeland's office and let him know that we are taking this to the Transportation Committee here. And Councilor Rudick, I would think we would be in favor of advocating the province for some rural transportation needs. What are your thoughts?
Absolutely, especially since we've been successful in securing a grant to be able to do a feasibility study. I think it's important for us to have all of these questions close at hand, and being able to link a major industry partner in the Cold Lake region would be something that we can consider as we're doing the conversation. So appreciate the mayor reaching out. I've also connected a Southern Transportation Regional Network that's operated out of the Tabor-Lethbridge corridor as well. So we have some other examples close to home that might be good for us to be able to use as we move forward. But definitely in favor of considering and reaching out to the mayor if we need to.
Well, maybe we might be able to support their efforts with our grant funding and do some research for the Northeast. Maybe we could.
I think the parameters are pretty restrictive.
Oh, yeah.
But that doesn't mean that we can't share our best practices and the information that we've gathered already. So I think it is definitely one that you can stack in terms of being able to do the next phase of a feasibility study. So if we had done ours and we asked a different set of questions, we might be able to extrapolate that and include other municipalities that are in the region, because it would definitely benefit the area to be able to share workers in the area potentially, or employers to be able to have some movement of folks around.
Okay, so it looks like we have some work to do. Excellent. Go ahead, Councilor Whirlwind.
Well, and I just think that it's important, regardless of whether something comes of an actual committee on this, that the point that the mayor is making is very valid when he talks about some of the funding that has gone to the major centers. I mean, we talk
Talking billions?
billions.
Oh, yeah.
And, while, because this obviously happens in more than just this type of grant, but I think what we're forgetting is, like, there needs to be an ask of some sort, whether it ends up being an actual transportation or discussing the fact that, well, transportation could look different for different communities. And if you're allocating billions towards a large center, we may not have that kind of infrastructure, but there needs to be some consideration for what can you do for our transportation. The answer can't just be, well, you don't have a city infrastructure or you're not set up as a city, so you don't get zero. Like, maybe that's not what we'll ever be able to have. Maybe it won't even be this busing system, but maybe there needs to be a consideration that there should always be a pot that goes towards rural communities, even if it's to subsidize some of what we have. But right now, our answer is kind of like, there's billions for the city, and if you live outside here, I don't know, like, good luck.
Yeah. So, again, we just get back to Mayor Copeland, letting him know that our Transportation Committee is looking at our own needs right now, but we are more than willing to help advocate to the province from the town of Vegreville with what their cause is, so. Okay. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next up, we have a letter from Tony Kabinski from the CAMA, ACAM. Dear Mayor McPhee, the Long Service Recognition Award Program of the Canadian Association of Municipal Administrators, the CAMA, is dedicated to honoring and celebrating the dedication of our members to public service and municipal management a cornerstone priority of our association. These awards are based on the duration of full-time paid employment in municipal government, specifically in management roles such as chief administrative officers or those reporting directly to them. Recognition is granted at the 10-year mark and subsequently in 5-year intervals. This year, it is our privilege to acknowledge the commitment of your Chief Administrator Officer, Sandra Ling, for her remarkable 10 years of service in the municipal government management roles. Sandra's dedication to her role has undoubtedly contributed to the advancement of your municipality, and we are pleased to recognize her achievements. Her recognition pin has been mailed to her directly. We invite you to assist us in recognizing Sandra for this milestone, perhaps through a special presentation at a city council in acknowledgement of her continued support of the municipal profession. In closing, we wish to express our heartfelt appreciation to City Council for their unwavering support of Sandra as a valued member of the CAMA. Sincerely, Tony. Well, Sandra, I got one. So come on up. Thank you for your 10 years of service. We do appreciate it. Get a motion to receive and file that letter. Thank you, Councillor Bullock. All those in favor? Carried. Anybody else want anything to contribute? Or a pin's enough? I got a Vegreville pin. I could. No, in all seriously, thank you, and hopefully we'll be doing this in 5 years from now. Okay, next up we have a letter from Connie Steinwood.
Sorry, that's me. All right. Dear Mayor McPhee and esteemed members of council, on behalf of the Vegreville and District Chamber of Commerce, it is my pleasure to extend a warm invitation to you and members of Town Council to attend our upcoming Chamber Golf Mixer. So the event details, it's on Thursday, June 19th. It's from 1 to 5 p.m. Of course, it's held at the Vegreville Kinsman Golf Course, and the format is 9-hole fun tournament followed by dinner and networking. This event offers a relaxed and enjoyable setting for community leaders, business owners, and chamber members to connect and foster strong partnerships. Your presence would be a valued addition and a great opportunity to engage with local business community outside of formal settings. We sincerely hope you can join us for a day of friendly competition, conversation, and collaboration. Please RSVP by Friday, June 6th, and please see the attached registration form. Thank you for your ongoing support of our local business community. We look forward to seeing you on the green. Warm regards, Connie Steinwood, General Manager, Vegreville and District Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you. I'll need a motion to receive and file. Councillor Curtis makes the motion. Anybody going?
I'm trying.
You're in a fishing tournament. I think I'm pretty sure I'm going.
I'm sure I'll end up putting it on.
Okay, well, I hope that anybody that's watching now that would like to go to this, I've gone to the last couple and they've always been a good fun day, and it's nice. We were at one on the weekend. The food, the kitchen that's the second year in a row the same people, and it's always good and it's always a good time. So, okay, all those in favor? Carried. Next up, Director Size.
Thank you, Worship. I have here the April 30th, 2025 monthly cash statement, We began the month with 1.2 million and ended with 2.6 million. So a net increase of $1,365,778. Major sources of cash for the month included $111,000 for an FCSS quarter 1 and quarter 2 payment, $328,000 for the County of Minburn 2024 recreation payment, $131,000 for Alberta Crime Prevention Grant, so that was something that was received by the FCSS. We also received $944,000 for our 2024 LGFF capital payment, so we have 2025 to come as well. And we had an $82,419 GST refund. Major uses of cash for the month were actually only one large purchase was the sewer cleaning truck came in. So that was a total cost of $502,000 with GST, but we'll get obviously the GST portion back. And that is my monthly report, unless someone has more questions.
No, we still ended ahead where we started.
We did. For once, finally.
It'd be nice to start seeing some of this other grant funding that's been spent coming forward too, so. Any other questions? Okay, I'll take a motion to accept the cash statement as presented. Okay, Councillor Berry makes the motion. All those in favor? Carried. Okay, next up, Director Lefebvre.
Thank you, Worship. We have a request for council decision. The topic is the Vegreville Agricultural Society road closure request. The proposal is to approve the temporary road closure for the Agricultural Society parade route on Wednesday, August 6, 2025. At the May 6, 2025 Legislative Committee meeting, council reviewed a letter from the Vegreville Agricultural Society requesting a temporary road closure for the Vegreville Country Fair Parade. The parade will be held on Wednesday, August 6th at 11 a.m. Parade lineup will begin at 10 a.m. at the Vegreville Composite High School and will head east down 55th Ave, turn south down 60th Street, and then east down 45th Ave to finish at the Egg Society grounds, and there is a map attached as correspondence. The Vegreville Agricultural Society are also requesting the town to provide barricades and staff to direct traffic at those barricades. Communication strategy, the temporary road closure will be communicated through the town's website and social media channels. Recommendation is being made that town council approve the temporary road closure for the parade route on August 6, 2025 from 10 a.m. until 12 p.m. and further that council approve the supply of barricades and staff at 20 locations to close the parade route to vehicle traffic.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll take a motion for the recommendation. Councillor Lemko makes the motion. Any comments? Go ahead, Councillor Curtis.
Thank you. I say we do it.
I thought somebody'd say they really like this parade route. Yeah. Okay, all those in favor of the recommendation? Carried. Do you believe you have one more? Nope. No, it's Council CAO Links.
All right, thank you, Your Worship. The request for council decision topic is the Municipal Policing Committee, the MPC members. And at the April 28th council meeting, the council passed bylaw 0725, Municipal Policing Committee bylaw. As per the bylaw, council needs to appoint 4 members of council to the committee. At the May 6th Legislative Committee meeting, Councillor David Berry, Councillor Len Bullock, Councillor Justin Curtis, and Councillor Gerald Lemko volunteered to be appointed to the MPC. The communication strategy on this is these appointments will be communicated at a level 1 public engagement process. The names of each appointee will be listed on the Town of Vegreville website. So the recommendation for council today is that council appoint Councillor David Berry, Councillor Len Bullock, Councillor Justin Curtis, and Councillor Gerald Lemko as the Municipal Policing Committee members.
I will make that motion.
Okay. Any comments? There's no alternate on this board, correct?
No, there's no alternate on this board.
Okay. Go ahead, Councillor Berry.
Well, I guess we should say something. I'm pleased to have the opportunity to sit on this board, I think that we need to look into how policing is run, particularly in our own communities. So I think that this is a good opportunity for us.
Okay, all those in favor? Carried. Okay, so I guess we're ready for council reports, and we're gonna start with Councillor Lemko tonight.
Thank you, Your Worship. Let me just open my report. On May 1st, I attended the Regional Recreation Feasibility Study Committee meeting. It was sort of like the wrap-up of the work that's been done by the consultant, and further moving ahead with plans for the implementation of the study, I guess. May 5th, I attended the town safety meeting and breakfast, and it was nice to see all the new staff that are coming, the summer students, and cooking breakfast with my fellow colleagues here. There's May 6th, Ledge meeting. May 8th, the MDM member and board meeting. It's a regular monthly meeting of the board. And then shortly after that meeting, we had another MDM member and building committee meeting. Discussed the proposed new development for additional 63 rooms to the lodge. We're at the stage right now where we are waiting for the government to see if we're approved. But in that, we're still planning moving forward. We're picking the outside colors. There's a couple members of the committee that are meeting with the architect in Red Deer, going over some fine details about the inside and what that looks like. On May 8th, I also attended the Lakeland Employment Services open house here, and got to see the busy board there about jobs and all that. So if you're looking for work, go there. You're looking to get your resume done and employment services. That's a good thing in town to have. May 8th, I also attended the Legion VE Day ceremony at the Cenotaph, followed by a little gathering at the Legion. It was nice to see the Legion remembering victories like that, and the show of the amount of people supporting that. So that's a great event. Today I attended the VTAB, Vegreville Tourism Advisory Board meeting just before council. A few of the highlights were the community grad sale is June 14th this year. So if you're looking to get some advertising on that, get your application in. I believe on our website will give you the details for that. Canada Day plans are in place. It'll be a busy place at Canada Day at the Pysanka Park. There'll be the Abraham Lake singers and dancers will be in. It's Indigenous from the Big Stone, I believe, Indian Reserve, that are coming to do some singing and some drumming. Also live bands, the Bouncy Castle, and a lot of other activities at Canada Day. We're in the process on Alberta Day, which is August 30th, to maybe working on trying to set a world record. So stay tuned for that event. It's a lot of work by our tourism board team to have this come. We're looking at up to 3,000 people at our egg park doing a spoon race. And then that was sort of the report. Craft sale this year is in November, moved up a bit. And then the Chamber's 50th celebrations, the 50th anniversary of the Pysanka. Very, very busy summer, not only counting the Pysanka Festival and the fair and all those other things happening. So we're a busy place, and we look forward to this summer. And that's about all I got, boss.
Well, thank you very much. You attended tonight's council meeting as well.
Yeah, Your Worship, that's right now. Sorry, I got carried away talking.
I know where you went. Councilor Warla.
Just jumped right over here. Okay. Anyways, May 1st, I actually was asked to represent us by judging at A.L. Horton's Public Speaking. Really enjoyed doing that. It's a good time every year. I got to judge the grade 6s this year. The way they do theirs, all the kids participate first, and then they kind of do a narrow down. So this is almost like going to the next level type of thing. I can tell you though, there's some grade 4 kids in there. If they came to debate us, I think we'd be in trouble. There's some really good little speakers out there. And interesting topics, actually. The young man who won in the grade 6 divisions gave a speech he called The Intimidator, and it was on the Late Dale Earnhardt with race car driving. Really interesting. Learned a bunch of stuff, gave a bunch of facts. It was actually wonderful. Then on the 2nd, there was a Northern Lights library board meeting. They had their general meeting. Just a couple quick things. There's kind of slowing down on some of the items. The operations never slow down, but just some of the meeting items slow down. We won't meet again until August, and that will be an in-person in Two Hills. But just a couple of things that I wanted to mention is a thank you to Jennifer from the town of Mornville, who let her name stand again, and she will be our ongoing chair, so that's greatly appreciated. As well as, I think I announced at one of the past meetings that they had gone forward with the addition of we have interest from some Indigenous communities, and they have elected, the title list is as an Indigenous member at large, and it is Clifford Cross is the member for that one. So that's just a little bit from there. On the 5th, I attended the Pancake Breakfast safety meeting, and it's always really good to see everybody. I guess I would say it reminded me again when there was a tribute paid to Norm, and you could really hear the silence in the room, and it just reminds everybody again that we're not like larger centers. When things happen in smaller communities, it really impacts everybody. They've known each other outside of work, so it's hard to see, but it's also actually reminds you of how nice it can be to be from a small community, because they become like a family. So I would say I also had on the May 6th, I just want to bring a couple highlights from the chamber meeting. I wasn't able to attend, but thank you to Connie for providing me an overview, and I just wanted to mention a few items. We already spoke a little bit about reminding everyone July 26th is the celebration of the Pesinka. There are still, I believe, 4 spots open for entertainment, so if somebody is interested, please get hold of Connie. There's still a few spots there, but it's shaping up to be quite the day from early pancake breakfast. They're going to have an opening ceremonies. My understanding is there was a sponsorship to a certain well-known mascot that will be out and about roaming around. So if any of you are sports fans, keep an eye open for what's going on there. Face painting, food trucks, market, and more. So it's shaping up to be a really good event. Also, they do their spring bingo, which is essentially like their passport, encouraging businesses to take place, and you get your stamps. They actually had 35 businesses taking part. And again, the prize is your chamber bucks going back into the community, so that's good. The golf, we have the letter already tonight, but just the reminder for anyone for golf. And the one other one I just want to highlight right now is they were going to be attempting to go back to a little more of the previous type of format for the Christmas party, and the date for the chamber Christmas party this year will be December 12th. Other than that, I had the legislative meeting on the 6th and tonight's council meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you know if anybody from the chamber reached out to the King of England?
I feel like that certainly that actually was brought up through the MP's office. I don't know that we will have a lot of luck because he is actually going to be in Canada at the end of the month.
On the 26th with his throne speech.
Yeah. So typically you won't get
It'd be nice
back
if we
again.
could get a recorded message.
that could be something that could be added to the request. We can reach out there
Yeah, that we show him a little bit of history of his mom and dad being here.
and see if there's any possibility for some there. Well, certainly we have the contact to his representative's office, so we could maybe see what could potentially come from
Yeah,
there.
just show him a little history on that, it'd be nice. I know he probably can't make it, he's got a lot going on, being a king, but don't forget to remind him that his mom took time to come.
Yes,
See what he says to that.
certainly try to pass that on.
Okay, Councillor Barry, thank you.
Thank you, Worship. As you guys know, our hospital here is run by the Covenant Health, and they're a very important group throughout the province. So I had the opportunity to go to the Covenant Spring Retreat in Edmonton, and it really was a worthwhile day to be there with representatives from all around the province. A lot of the different community boards were there, and of course, everybody with Covenant Health Administration was there, and just meeting and talking, and we had some work sessions and such, and it was very informative for me. I really totally enjoyed it. And Lindsay was with me, and we brought back some ideas that we want to try and put to work in terms of trying to promote Covenant Health in our community and the hospital in our community, because I don't think people actually realize just how good a facility it really is and how much it does provide. It's not just an emergency. There's a lot of things there. So we're going to try and work on getting the message out a little better. May the 5th, I was also at the staff meeting and the pancake breakfast, and it was very good to see all of the staff there going through pancake breakfast and such, so I think that's very enjoyable. In the ledge meeting on the 6th, I was also at the 8th anniversary of VE Day and with the Canadian Legion, and I really do appreciate that the Legion continues to hold these special events, these ceremonies and etc. It touches me very close because I was born very close to VE Day, and it was at a time that several of my uncles and aunts and my father's cousins and etc. were just finding out that they would actually be able to come back home. Some of them didn't make it. I always am reminded on these days that two relatives of my father's that didn't make it are my namesakes, David and Keith. So when these events come around, I greatly appreciate that the Legion is still holding to these, to recognizing what did take place. And on on May the 9th, our Vermilion River Watershed, we held a joint committee meeting and TAC meeting. The TAC is a technical, so I sit on both. We had some good discussions. It was a good meeting. We are in the process of seeking a new grant that primarily would be to continue some of the work we're doing, but mainly to take a look and do a new status report. It was 2005 that the status of the river was actually done. So we figured that this is a good opportunity now that some work has been done, that more knowledge has been gained, that we put a new status of the river and activities along it together, and include some of the events, some of the riparian areas, the protection even in town here of the cemetery bank. And we're looking at trying to promote some more blogs and et cetera and get our website up and running again. Even though we're primarily connected with the North Saskatchewan River Watershed Alliance, we're all feeling that we've sat back and let it go away too much, that we need to step in and get our website that's part of that one up and running better and get more information out to the area that's here through for what has been advancing there. And in tonight's regular council meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Curtis.
Thank you very much. For me, on May 5th, we had the town safety meeting and breakfast on the 6th, which was it was fun. It was fun serving breakfast to everybody in the morning. I had new summer students coming through, and some people have been there for a long time. So nice to see them all. May 6th, the Ledge meeting, as well as the council and CAO meeting. Tonight, the tourism board meeting. So I just a couple things left that Councilor Lemko didn't touch on, which again, I kind of mentioned the new staff starting at the Visitor Information Center, so a lot of summer students there, as well as in different departments too. I know they're getting geared up there for hopefully a season of a lot of people coming to town, and their hours have changed. I believe it's till 8 p.m. now, Monday through Sunday. So there was a few complaints, I think, before about going at 5 o'clock to grab some ice cream, and we were closed at the first early days of the week, and I think we're gonna amend that for this year, and hopefully that'll get some more sales up and have some more things for people to do. As well, our Go East of Edmonton friend, Mr. Kevin Kiselevich, he was sick today, but he did send an email, which is just, I like to hear this. Their new Go East of Edmonton guide is out. There was over 30,000 copies distributed already, so that's 15,000 per week for the first 2 weeks. And he said that's the best ever start so far for that guide. So they have their trip game where you can go stop at all the different towns and get your stamps or your your trinkets. And it's been going really well for them, and it brings a lot of tourism to our town. So good on them for that. And then tonight's council meeting.
Okay, thank you very much. Councilor Bullock.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, back on May 5th with all my other colleagues. We'd had the annual pancake breakfast and safety meeting, which was attended well, obviously, and everyone had a good time in Zoom that morning. And was a success. May 6th, our legislative committee meeting. Yesterday, May 11th, I, stepped in, took my wife to the Mother's Day breakfast at the Legion, and wow, what a spread they put on for a Sunday breakfast. If you ever have the chance on the second Sunday of every month to attend the Legion breakfast, it's fantastic. And I've seen all the other restaurants, Albert's and Crave were open for the morning to serve Mother's Day breakfast, and they were just jammed with people, as you could see. So, yeah, a really good event in town, and Legion was giving flowers to every mother that came through the door, which was another really nice touch. And then tonight's council meeting.
Okay, thank you. I think the golf course too, the new kitchen people out there, they had a brunch, barbecued ribs and stuff out there today too, yesterday too, so.
Vito's gave flowers too.
Oh, did they? Nice. Councilor Rudick.
Hello there. So lots of the same meetings as my council mates. So May 5th, the annual safety meeting and pancake breakfast. And then I got to spend 3 riveting days, the 5th, 6th, and 7th in the Land and Property Rights Tribunal refresher course. Highly recommend. Definitely great to see some of our local board members on that training. Again, it's a refresher in the information that is necessary to be able to hear the appeals from residents that might have questions or concern about the existing parameters under which we are able to grant building permits, etc. And so it was great to be able to know that not only some of the information that I was familiar with, but also some clarifications on some of the new legislation. So I have to take the test. Councillor Barry assures me that it will be very easy. So we'll see how that goes. May 6th, Legislative Committee meeting, coming from one to the other. May 8th, MD Minburn Foundation meeting. Councillor Lemko referenced a few of the topics of conversation. The building committee is ongoing conversation, and very hopeful that with the federal election concluded that some of the federal granting will be determined for housing pockets, as well as the provincial, which is kind of waiting for the federal parameters. So that might allow us some movement on the project, but really interesting to be able to attend the building committee, subcommittee, because that's not a committee I'm a member on, to be able to see some of the very staged work that needs to happen in a big project like this. And very interesting to be able to see, for example, the compliance component or the different portions of a big contract like that that allow for example, when you're installing the furnaces, making sure that the intakes are designed and accommodate installation so that you don't end up doing a big project and have not taken into account some of those logistical details. So again, we've been very fortunate with the group that we hired to be our project manager. Really impressed with Robert Major and his group, and happy to be able to see how far along the project is, going so far as picking out interior design colors, as Councillor Lemko referenced, as well as being able to determine what it's going to look like from the outside. So really moving along there, really impressed. May 8th, also happy to be able to run over after being able to chat with some of the residents at the Minburn Foundation Homestead Lodge to be able to join council and the Royal Canadian Legion for the VE Day celebration, the 80th anniversary. I did mention to a couple of folks that day, my in-laws were actually in Holland attending the 80th anniversary there, and what a positive experience it was for them as a family that's half Dutch, half Canadian, to be able to receive that gratitude firsthand from some people that experienced the impact of that monumental time in history. Also speaking with one of our local Legion members who was 12 at that time. Chuck St. Clair is no stranger to many people in Vegreville, but him remembering as a 12-year-old what kind of celebration there was in his community in Ontario, remembering what joyous time it was for his community, and hearing those stories firsthand is really important for us to be able to remember our past and be able to move forward. That day I also attended the Lakeland Employment Services Mixer. I've got a number of little gifts. I'm sorry that I'm not there in person to be able to give them to you all, but I've got a bag full of treats from Marnie Sedora and her team at Lakeland Employment Services, and I will share some of the data points at our ledge meeting, maybe when I've got some of the pamphlets in your hands. But the volume of people that have come through the doors of that operation is really quite astounding. I used to work many years ago in advanced education and career development, so I did a lot of this work with retraining, doing job search skills, etc. So it's actually a lot of the same department mandate that I would have had 25 years ago. But they have really had a ton of uptake in the Vegreville community. So this is one of 5 offices that they have, and I believe the number that Marnie said, they've had over 3,000 people walk through the door, individual job seekers, to be able to come and access the services, and there's a number of different postings. So just want to make sure that local businesses are also aware that they've got a job board, both physical and online, to be able to post everything from truck driving to service industry jobs to professional occupations as well, and everything in between. And tonight's council meeting, I just wanted to also point out, I had a meeting today with some of my FCM colleagues and wanted to point out something that might be of interest to us here, that there is an advocacy piece that FCM was able to advance about protection for communities that have ordered emergency vehicles, that if there is any tariffs on those vehicles, that they will be protected from those pricings. So I think that might be of immediate interest to us here at this table. I just wanted to point that out to our admin so that they're aware, and we'll find out more information to be able to share with you. But that advocacy win for FCM is quite significant, and might be, 25% on $1 million fire truck would be quite significant if we're able to protect ourselves from some of those tariffs. So that is my report, and I just want to also say thank you to the recognition that was given at our safety meeting. I was really quite surprised to see how many people are new to the community and new on our staff. So again, you feel like sometimes in a small community that you know everybody, and I'm always pleased to be reminded that there are a lot of new people that we need to meet. So that's my report.
Further to that conversation, the fire truck that we have on order is being built in Canada, so we're not exposed on that. Okay, thank you very much, Councilor Riddick. Okay, I guess I'm the last one to go. It always ends that way. On May 1st, I did record a talk to the town with Elk Island Catholic School Board trustee, Teresa Makawecki, and I guess we gave some highlights of what the is going on with Elk Island Catholic School Board, and we talked a little bit about the tax increases and what people could expect for school tax, and the fact that it's neither the town nor the school board that initiated these tax hikes for the school tax. So, and we talked a little bit about our last committee meeting with the council and the Elk Island Catholic School Board. So it was all good. On May the 1st, I too was part of the Recreation Feasibility Study Steering Committee, and we're getting ready to get that information out to the communities and stuff right away. And I want to thank Leslie for a great job she did that whole time. And then on May the 5th, the safety meeting, the annual pancake breakfast serving the employees and those who did all the legwork beforehand, picked up the food, brought all the utensils, everything. Thank you very much for that. It was nice to see our staff all come together and concentrating on the safety. We know the summer is one of our busiest times, and we need to always have each other's back, because safety itself is a team thing. So I was a little disappointed I didn't get to have my regular speech with the new employees. I always like to tell them, do they know who their boss is? And if they say Sandra or me, I always say, no, it's all those residents that are driving around. Make sure you're not standing in a group talking. But I didn't get a chance this time. So on May the 5th, Sandra and myself had a Teams meeting with her MLA regarding a situation that she had get some misinformation on, I think, about an emergency service here in town, but we got that all straightened out, and our staff was very good with all the information, the updates, the exact timing of everything, so I'm sure she was satisfied with that. Ledge meeting on the 6th. On the 7th, Jameson and myself met with the ABMT. They're a company out of Ontario, and he's been here many times with delegations, and he's looking to sign another offtake agreement with another Chinese company. This would be the 4th one. And Mr. Rem, the company that he has in China, is the largest manufacturer of yarn. And they call yarn like fiber. So it's hemp and other types of fiber and flax. He's huge into flax. His company personally buys 20% of all the flax that's grown in France. And he had one other gentleman with him and his assistant, and Alberta, who supplied the translator, was Invest Alberta. I'm sure that's who she's with. And we've met with him many times. We went out to look at Prosperity Park, and he was fairly impressed with the highway, access close to the highway, the rail. So, I mean, if they make a deal, and they're another 25 acres is what they're looking at down there. So, and then on the 8th, I want to thank all those members that did make it to the 80th anniversary of VE Day. And, I've made a lot of speeches about Remembrance Day and Veterans Day and these other ones, Allegiance. So this time on this anniversary, I sort of approached it on what the everyday soldier would have looked like, what it would have been to them. To hear that the war would be over, that they possibly didn't have to take a life the next day, or nobody would be trying to take theirs, and then I sort of looked at it from the people in Europe, that were occupied, and the atrocities they went through, and that day they would have just had to take a breath and say, wow, there is a future for my children and stuff. So, and again, I always appreciate the Legion. They keep remembering and recognizing these days, and that's the thing about it. We can never forget. And tonight's council meeting. So, is there any other business of council? We do have one closed session item, so I will take a motion to go into closed session. Councilor Rawa makes the motion at 8:11. All those in favor? Carried.